They ain't believe, I know they never believed in me. God set me free, I know that they tired of me talking this heat. Trying to get peace, the way I be rapping don't come from the street. It's coming from me, talking to God before I go to sleep. My old friends, they was doubting, telling me I was just chasing the clout. And told me I would never move mountains, now they be trying to surround me. Back in the days, I was recording my feelings, I know they was clowning. Talking about me with all of their peers, I know that they really ain't like me. Remember back when I was fighting, remember my anger was frightening. Remember I needed alignment, all up in there be crying. I know they really ain't care about me like they say they cared about me. Now I'm just staying alone to myself, trying to flee from temptation around me. Now I'm just coming up, walk with the love in my heart and stuff. They try to set me up, they try to get in my head and stuff. Move when it's time to go. I got a dream and I gotta go. What in my pocket swole, but not for the price of my own soul, not for the jewelry or the clothes. Please believe I'll achieve the goal. Please believe me, I promise to you and I promise to you that I'm finna blow. From riding on planes to booking shows, to hearing myself on the radio, to seeing myself on the local news, but not on my own or by myself. I give my glory to someone else. I give my glory to Most High, not to the crystal or to the chakra, nada, not to the false gods, and not to the Buddhas or all of the rulers, the universe or the whole sky, and not to the stars and not to the moon or all of the gold and the idols, nah, not to the enemy trying to pretend to be everything that I ever wanted, and not to the ones who came in my life and be sneaking around like they up to something, and not to the people who said I'd be nothing that's further than me, yeah, I'm right behind you, and not to the people that's talking down on my family, yeah, I peep how you sounding, but I believe in me, and I believe in peace, and I believe in Jesus, please believe in me, but I believe in me, but I believe in me, please believe in me, but I believe in me, but I believe in me, please believe in me, please believe in me,
Turn the speakers up, man, it's time to start the show. Sean Tanner, Ryan Righteous, DJ Jeremiah. We bringing the heat, man, this joint be fire like, bruh. We in the field, we in the field, bruh. We in the field, we in the field. Just put it in work, we raising the bar. You tuned in to the tracks.
Hey, yo, what's cracking? It's your man Lecrae, aka Crazy Crayola, the bond servant. Right now, you listening to the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, and Jeremiah. I see you, boy. Hold it down. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. What's good?
All right, for all things Trackstarz, make sure you go to trackstarswithaz.com. Follow us on Instagram, like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You know what it is. It's Trackstarz Live. Let's get into it.
All right, we have a guest with us today, our boy Jason Bordeaux. What's going on?
Jason Bordeaux.
What's up? Jason Bordeaux.
Solomon's Porch is in the building. All right, guys, we got a lot of
Bible with Bordeaux.
We got a lot of hard stuff to deal
Jason
with today.
Bordeaux.
Oh, snap.
Ooh.
Well, speaking of Bordeaux,
Number five, Jason. Start a church.
So Hillsong is under a lot of fire right now. There's a documentary that just came out, Hillsong Exposed or Mega Church Exposed. And I mean, this like happening now. Like the lead pastor from Australia just stepped down like a couple of days ago. So this is like as we speak happening. They were already a lot of stuff going on with them recent years. But it's starting to become a real big thing now. So I just watched the 3-part documentary on Discovery Plus, and it kind of breaks down how people processed their reign over the last couple years in different ways, dealing with Carl Lentz, dealing with the actual pastor himself, the head guy in charge, and dealing with the college. So they kind of touched those 3 things. And, you know, we have a little bit of experience with this. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, man, this is what a documentary of our church
don't
would
all
have
have the same
Yes,
experiences.
Should toxic churches be watch out for pastors named Brian?
You might go to a toxic church if your senior pastor's name is Brian.
That's
funny.
inside, super inside. But anyway, so me and Jeremiah especially have a lot of experience with this. Like literally, I was watching it. Like, man, if I was to do a documentary, it would look a lot like this. Same points, everything. Yeah. So, what did you guys think about what's going on with Hillsong? That our boy Sam Collier just made news because he just stepped down from Hillsong Atlanta. That was big. Yeah. So, what are you guys feeling?
First of all, shout out to Sam Collier, man. I didn't realize he was the first black pastor of a Hillsong community church. That's crazy because they're in over what they said 30 different locations and 30 different countries with like 150,000 attendees a week across all locations. That's crazy. So, shout out to him. And I understand from people who attended Hillsong Atlanta that it was popping. It was doing its thing. And they really focused on, I was reading the 11 Alive article that was posted. They really focused on highlighting CHH and R&B over there. So dope shout outs to them because they changed the culture the way Hillsong is, been represented over the years. Man, this documentary, whoa, it's an eye opener, man. It makes you so sad for the kingdom of God. So sad for the kingdom because there are people that are really trying to make sure that people get fed the right way, the word of God, and receive community that the church is supposed to bring. And when you see this documentary and you hear about all the different things that happen to all these victims, it just makes you sad. And it makes you wonder, one of the people in the documentary said that we're no longer doing this or that Carl Lentz was no longer doing this for God or never did this for God. He did it for himself. And I thought about that and I was like, well, all these different platforms we have and all these different ministries and, businesses that we have that are trying to edify God's kingdom and reach the lost and teach the found. It just means to me, like we got a lot of fixing and reshaping to do before this thing even looks attractive again. Because right now it's just not attractive the way it was so much that was exposed. If you haven't watched the documentary, you really need to. It's a long documentary. I mean, each episode is about like an hour and 30 minutes, Sean, maybe longer. It's really long.
It's about an hour, I think. From my memory,
it's over that.
Hour.
They were all about an hour and 30 minutes. I'm almost certain.
Yeah, it was long.
I couldn't get through.
It was super long.
Yeah, it was very long.
Especially me turning it on thinking there was only one thing, and then I'm like, oh, snap. Me too. Episode 2. So when there's an episode 2, there's definitely a 3. So I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of that, they're probably gonna put out 4 pretty soon because they're gonna have to add to it now that Brian Houston stepped down because there's more allegations around him. And it's funny, you know what? One person in the documentary said there's nothing going on but finger pointing, and that's what the whole documentary is about. This person points to that person, and it points back to that person, and nobody's taking the blame. Nobody's actually said I'm at fault for this. So it's crazy.
What do you think, Jeremiah?
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I did see some other stuff around it. I did see I watched the interview of the mistress to Carl Lentz, and how she was talking like she basically he was like, don't Google me, basically like I help people, I help rich people. Like he was like not saying he's a pastor at all until one day she just decided to Google him and it came up, you know what I mean? And I at the end of the day, man, like we are in a place where I feel like God is like the celebrity pastor in mega churches. I think he is like, if you're not legit, I can't say that for every mega church because there's a lot of good churches out there that are big churches, and God wants you to, I think God do want pastors to get more, not get more big, but I think he does want people's churches to flourish. So I can't say mega churches are bad, but what I do say is if people are in those mega churches that just want power and they want influence and they want to be more than what God has called them to be, then I feel like that's a bad thing. And the sad part about it is majority of the time these documentaries come out, it's about mega churches. It's never about a small church that got like 5-10 person people in the church. It's always a church that's like 5,000 plus, you know what I'm saying? So I just think it's a sad situation. It hurts. And I feel like the world loves doing these documentaries. They love doing documentaries on churches that are bad because it look in the eyes of everybody, it's like, see, that's the church. I told y'all the church ain't good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, nah, not every church is like that. But I think from their eyes, that's what they see.
Jeremiah, one thing about this documentary, though, is that it didn't feel, I don't know who actually made the documentary. Somebody will have to tell me in the chat. But they weren't necessarily saying that church is bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were saying that this church is bad. Because they had they had people in the documentary that were like, no, my church don't do this. This was weird.
Oh, got you.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying to you is the average person looking at this is saying, see, that's why I don't go to church, or see, that's why the church is no good.
I said that.
You know what I'm saying?
I said that.
No, I'm just saying the average person, non-believer, or the average person who's like maybe this church thing, or like on the fence about church, looks at documentaries like that and put us all together. They don't separate unless they come to a church and like, oh wow, okay, so every church is not like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whenever somebody tells me about their church,
it's tough because there are so many big churches, and obviously the bigger the church, the more financial things there are involved, and then you got to worry about, keeping people in the building. So you got to entertain the Christians instead of educate them and help them spiritually grow.
Right.
And then it becomes an organizational job, not a lead pastor leading. And so then you're thinking about, like you would a regular company, like, oh, I want to make money, because this is now being a business more than a ministry. And so the bigger the church, the harder it falls a lot of times. Not every church has failed that's huge, but a lot of times the higher it goes, the harder it'll fall. And then people look at that church because it's so popular and their music is so popular, and they do paint every other church like that.
Real quick, do y'all think the enemy is picking these people off, or do you think God is tearing their towers down?
Okay, so I definitely want to talk about that specifically, just in regards to Carl Lentz, because what they were basically saying about him, and we'll talk about the lead pastor guy in a second, but what they were saying about him is that he was kind of always like this. That even in his early days at Wave Church, that he was hitting on girls and maybe they didn't say specifically cheating on his wife, but pretty much, So they were saying he was always like this, and then as he rose, it just got worse and worse, and the whole celebrity lifestyle and all that. So I always wonder that is some of these major pastors, are they people who had good intentions when they started? I wonder about our old pastor too. Was it good intentions when you started and then the power kind of corrupted you? Or did you always have bad intentions, which is my thought, and this just magnified your bad intentions? So I'm not sure. That's really hard to decide.
Yeah, I don't know if people go into it with the idea of corrupting it or being corrupt, but I think it goes back to like the Triple E song, power doesn't create corruption, it just exposes it or magnifies it. So the corruption's in there, but then it kind of gets worse and worse. So
what do you guys think about the origins of this church? Seem to be corrupt. His father was a pedophile.
Oh, wow.
Was a pedophile, like super duper pedophile. And Brian knew about it, and right now he's facing jail time because he failed to report it, and that's a crime, right? So
in Australia,
so he's in big trouble. He could face up to 5 years now. So I think between that and the fact that they found that he was cheating on his wife too, that's why he stepped down. But the origins of the church were messy.
It was scary.
Is that a sign? Like if you found out way back then, because this church's been around for 30 years, if you found out way back then that the guy who started the church, I think his name is Frank Houston, if you knew that he did that, is that church now beyond repair? Or are you in the belief that stick it out and try and work on it? Because back when Jeremiah and I were at Destiny, there was always like this feeling of, do we stay and kind of help? Do we need good people here to kind of rebuild it? Or do you just need to get up out of this bad situation and don't look back? And then everybody had their different, everybody eventually came to the same decision to jump up out of there. But everybody had that struggle of, should I be here to help or should I just get out while I can?
I would say this. I think depending on the leadership and how the leadership approach it. Like, even though somebody can start a church doesn't mean like whoever's in charge. Like, so for example, if Brian Houston was over it and the foundation he knew was shaking, it was like, okay, we got to change this. This isn't good. We got to make sure we protect our kids, blah, 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 blah. And then you found that out later. Yeah. I wouldn't be like, if he would have said, I made sure my father was like off of this situation. I backed off of it. You know what I mean? Now, I think the thing is, would you still go to it? I don't think I said I would, but I would say if I didn't know he was, because I always thought Brian Houston was the founder. So when I heard that, I was like, oh wow, so his father founded the whole Hillsong thing. So I would say, depending on the situation, how leadership handle the founder of that situation. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's gonna be hard because that's your father, and you like majority of the time you're gonna take your parents' word because you like, well, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes some people are going to take their parents' word of, I didn't do that, son, that they're lying on me, son. And you're going to be like, you know what I'm saying? And that's a hard place to be in as a son, or I mean, as a son or a daughter, and your parents, and they don't have that behavior around you, or you don't see it. Cause sometimes that stuff will creep out regardless of what happens. Stuff will creep out and you will see it, or you don't see it. And you like, that's not my father. My father, my kids are always around my dad. Nothing happened to them. Like what? Like, you know what I mean? And denial too, because that could be a denial thing. When somebody tell you that, and you're like,
well, he
knew,
I mean? So he knew it was true, but it seemed like his father told him, and this is what he ended up telling the victim: is you seduced my dad.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Corrupt from the beginning. Some people are like, "Hey, it's not the son's fault that the father." No, the son was involved in this.
No,
he paid off the guy. He's the one that sent the payment, so he was involved from the beginning. So, was this corrupt from the jump?
Yeah, and it was corrupt from the jump, and the reason why it's beyond repair is because everything is PR related now. Like you hear in the documentary, they say, well, they have a PR team and a group of lawyers that make sure their brand doesn't get muddy. They have a PR team that responds to you. You get a PR response. You get a PR response to allegations. When Carl Lentz got in trouble, it was a PR response. Like there's no genuine heart of Christ responses coming out of this church. It's just, how do we make this look good? How do we not lose the money? How do we not lose the followers? Even when Brian Houston got in the pulpit and he knew he was lying through his teeth, it's like he's saying they're just trying to attack us. Yeah. And that's the American media doing that. It's happened to us in Australia, but it's like the whole time, allegations about you cheating on your wife from 10 years ago, inappropriate text messages, going into somebody's room, spending the night, whatever you did, like all of that's about to come out, and you're still in the pulpit saying that there's nothing wrong with the church. It's just the media. It's crazy.
So here's my tough question, Jason. Is it possible to do what I think most Christians saw as a positive, right? Hillsong was doing well. The music was all over the world. They were building these big churches. It was, like that's what I think a lot of us see as the goal, right? Is to be, influential in the earth and bring people to Christ, right? Is it even possible? Because this keeps happening over and over and over. All of these celebrity pastors, all of these mega churches keep falling and falling and falling and making God look bad in the process. Is what we desire to happen even possible?
I mean, as far as building a large community of believers under one building without it falling?
Even if it's not one building, but just one organized movement, because every single time you see a leader that succumbs to the power, succumbs to the money, succumbs to the pressure of that position, is it even something we should be pursuing at all?
I think one thing Francis Chan, has right is I think we need to focus more on smaller home church, small church settings. Because what happens is as a church grows, it becomes more about the pastor or the preacher or the entertainer in a lot of cases than it is about God, his word, or the people. And like I was serious, like we have an American church who wants to be entertained. They don't want to be fed spiritually. And the problem with that is then you get a bunch of entertainers up there who aren't really studying the Word of God. They're not connecting with God. And I think that's partially our fault. I believe part of their fall is on the church. But I think large churches can exist, and I think they can do it in an integrity way. I just think the problem is we become so caught up around a certain preacher or teacher, and that gets to their head, especially guys. Like, most guys, when they comments get to our heads and it builds us up, and then we have this feeling of, oh man, they really like me. I'm really smart, or I'm really, impacting them. And that, that leads into temptation in many areas, whether it's sexually, money, abuse of power in different cases. And I think the thing that we need, the church has to have, going back to the New Testament structure, is you have to have a team of elders that can really be trusted to hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
I think we lack that in the common church because nobody knows who elders of Stephen Furtick is, or T.D. Jakes, or Matt Chandler, or John Piper, or anybody. Like, we don't know those elders around them, so we don't know if they have any accountability. And I think we focus so hard on one teacher, and we just trust everything that they say and do. And so whenever they do mess up or fall, it's really bad. And
Can somebody pull up our 5 warning signs? Because I want to talk about if you're in a church and you're starting to sense this, because I can point out some that I noticed along the way when we were at Destiny. There were some doesn't even exist anymore, so I'm tired of protecting them. There were some obvious signs that that something was going the wrong direction. But I also want to know from you guys what the answer is. All right, so here's one sign, and while y'all find that for me. There was a very big shift. You got him, Jeremiah? Here's one, and you tell me if it's on the list. There was a very big shift when we moved from one building to another. You remember this, Jeremiah, where it became very, very businessy. It became very almost Chick-fil-A corporate, trying to figure out how to be more of a business than a church type.
John Maxwell.
Feeling. Yeah. And at the time, it had, for good reasons, because like, hey, we're trying to grow this thing, this Destiny style, that we were trying to export to the world. So we got to be more responsible with the money. We got to build this building out. We got to blah, blah, blah. That was one sign that was like, I think everybody was like, it's a little strange that we're talking about business so much in the church, but okay, I get it. We're, this is important. We're stewards of this. So, but what's the answer? What should they have done instead of getting super businessy? What do you guys think?
I think every church, the church I go to now, I think every church should show their members where their money is going. And I think that's responsibility, because at the end of the day, you're tithing, you're giving your money to, you're giving to, first, you're giving it to God, right? You're giving God your tithes, your offerings, whatever you want to do. But then also you're giving to these people. And if you go to, like, I go to a mega church. So the church is big, the church is people on staff there, different things, but they show everybody, like, listen, we gave to a fund for young ladies getting out of prostitution overseas, or we gave to this foundation, we gave to this how much we gave, this is what you did, so now you seeing like, okay, my money is going to good use, versus you giving and then all of a sudden your pastor went from a Lincoln to a Maybach, or like, you're starting to see stuff that you like, oh snap, you happen to go to your pastor's house and he balling out of control or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
An elevator in his house.
You still trip about that, bro?
Can't get over.
Sean, we be talking about something like, yeah, the elevator, man. Yeah, the elevator. I'm like,
can't
what?
Get over.
Well, okay.
We in a recession, bro.
But you gotta go up and down too. But I think the thing is, I think just how people steward money is a way to show your parishioners to, like, hey, this how you should steward money too, because I'm leading you on how to steward money. So if I'm stewarding money the wrong way, then maybe you're doing the same thing, and then maybe you don't need to be in this church, because I'm taking your funds and doing something that I have no problem with. And then I think people always, I think the disguise with that is, we've heard for years, like, give, it gives to God, and God's going to take care of what happens to the money. You know what I mean? Yeah, he will. But at the same time, we got to focus in on how are you stewarding that money, because God is also looking at you as the leader of that church on how the money should be stewarded.
Transparency. All right, so riddle them off. What you got, Jeremiah?
We had a bunch, so I didn't think we clapped them down. So one was cult, isolating individuals, meaning like you always there, like they not wanting you to go home, not seeing your family, not like talking to people, and we gotta get this ball rolling. It's like, you know what I mean? I remember one time my mom thought Destiny was a cult because she was like, y'all never come home, y'all never, like, my 20s, honestly, I could be honest with you, my 20s was nothing but Destiny. And then Trackstarz started coming in, but it was still Destiny. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, she was asking me and my sister at one time, like, are y'all gonna come home? Like, y'all coming back to Jersey? Like, what are y'all doing? Like,
that's in the documentary as well. Using passionate, God-fearing people as free labor for your business, your personal movement. And we were there literally all the time, expected to work as paid employees, full-time paid employees, and made to feel guilty when we didn't. Yeah. But being used like literally morning till night. Yeah.
When I met y'all, I didn't understand that.
Midnight working.
I didn't understand that at all.
I think goes along with what Jeremiah says. That's a little cultish when the leader requires that much of you just to make whatever is happening happen.
Hey, at least they give you pizza, right?
Not even.
After the sleepover. After the
Jeremiah, the sleepover? The sleepover, Jeremiah?
Sleepover. You know what I'm talking about. You know when the kids, the lock-in, after the lock-in, we got some leftover pizza. Y'all want that? Yeah.
I was just messing with you, Brian.
Nobody's sleeping on that lock-in, there, were they? Nobody's sleeping.
All right, what you got?
Messing with you,
no,
Brian.
Nobody was. All right, so another one was idol worship, only listen to the pastor and no one else. Another one was scandals, sweeping under the rug. These are not top 5. We didn't crush them down. These are just what we said on the phone.
You can't narrow them down to top 5. It's like top 500.
Cliques within the church.
I would say not being able to question your pastor is a huge sign of a cult following. Huge. If you can't question him, like, I was blessed to be able to ask my pastor to explain something to me, because it was a particular topic that I've heard talked about before, and he mentioned it. So I called him up one day and I was like, hey, just out of curiosity, where did this idea come from? Like, scripturally. So we broke up in the Bible. He broke it down for me, why this conclusion is commonly came to. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Where a lot of churches, you're not allowed to question the pastor at all.
Yeah, the idea that the pastor is infallible, that is not of God. Yeah. That's an old Catholic thought.
Or reachable in this case, in many cases.
Is that really big in Black church? Like, not questioning the pastor that much? Because I know the church I go to now is like, if you have a question and you could really talk to the pastor, you got his email, you can really go to him after the church and really ask him some questions and have dialogue or whatever. You know what I mean? Even if I haven't done that, but I'm just saying, like, that happens. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I know in the Black church, it was like, if you had some questions, you had a meeting, but I don't know. You could get
Not all of them.
I keep forgetting.
Not all of them.
Ryan's still stuck at number, I'm joking. Yo, we on the phone, bro.
Scandal free, baby. Scandal free.
That Thursday night called me off the chain. I wish we could post that, because Ryan was on the defense when we was coming up with some of these. All right, so gang type behavior, excommunication, basically don't associate with other Christians. We're only right ones. When someone leaves the church, they say forgotten, disassociated.
Yes, okay. Yes, that's a big one. That's one big. I started noticing. When somebody leaves, all of a sudden, some people just aren't with the move of God. Some people just don't have their ear. They're not in the current of God's blessing. They make them feel bad, and they make everybody else at the church that's still there make it seem like that person just is not of God. Like that person was just not listening to God. They're missing out on what you're gonna get. That whole feeling of, we can't send nobody away really because we need everybody here for what we're doing here. So if somebody wants to go be a pastor, we're not going to really let them go do that because we want to control everything that's going on. That's a huge sign.
Even when the pastor's saying, well, I'm supposed to plant all these churches.
Yeah.
And you got people there that's like
that want to do
ready
it.
to go plant. And
like,
you like, no, not this time, not yet. And it's like God is waving on your heart. Yeah. God is waving on your heart. Like, yo, it's time to go to plant a church. Like, do the church. I'm putting that church in you, and God keeps saying that to you. And it's like 5 years later, and you still waiting because your pastor won't let you go, quote unquote.
You got to lead with an open hand. You can't be grabbing on to people. That's one thing I learned watching this happen was if your pastor or your congregation holds on to people like this, that's a bad sign. They should be like, oh, you want to do such and such? Even if I don't benefit, go do that. That's awesome. You know what I mean? Like that should be their attitude.
Yeah. Yeah. I know whenever a pastor says like, God needs you here, I think that's abusive. And if a pastor's not willing to let people go, I think that's a bad sign. But one of the things that, we're supposed to be a church planting church, a globally church planting church. Yeah. So a pastor should be like John the Baptist. When people say they want to go and follow Jesus, he didn't try to fight to keep them following him. He let them go.
Yeah.
I feel like pastors need to do the same. Whenever people say, I want to go plant a church or I want to go to another church, they should be like, well, that's fine. If you feel that's what God's calling you to do, go do that. But I think the bigger the church, the more finances they need, you're not going to see that quite as much.
Especially, and I'll say this real quick, especially if the people that are trying to leave are the talented people that's making the church go.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. Yeah. If you that dope praise worship leader that people come to see before the pastor, and he like, well, it's time for me to go. The pastor gonna be like, no, sir.
Well, y'all got Montel Jordan.
I don't think God telling you to do that. So I don't know. All right. Control church blindly following leadership. Another one was pastor preaching on church members' situations from the pulpit. Another one was political agendas before Christ, basically, before like your political allegiance. Giving too much money. And I gave this example was I had a situation where somebody I love dearly was giving so much money that they couldn't pay their bills to on there. Like they were calling us like, hey, I need this, we need this. And we were like, what's going on? And like, and then the problem was this was a small church. This wasn't even like a mega church. This was like a small church. And the members were low and everything. And they were just constantly giving money. And to a point where they end up leaving and getting financially straight again. But they was giving so much money. And not led by God to give money, but led by the persons to give more and more and more.
Here's one real quick. And we got to go soon.
I got one last one.
Okay, I'm gonna slide this one in, and this one I think you should actually go and figure out in research. Either they are an LLC or they act like an LLC, meaning they don't, like what Jason was saying. They don't have a board that is more powerful than them that can tell them no. They are the king and queen of the church, meaning they're the CEO and the COO of that church, and it's run as a business. Some churches are actually set up to where they have the nonprofit, but then they have the business right up under it, and they run it as the business. And that's just a weird thing to do, I think. So if they don't have a group of people that can actually take the church away from them, that's a scary sign, because they won't. If they aren't willing to do that, then when stuff goes wrong and somebody is not doing the right thing, they're not going to want to give it up then either. So that's something to look out for.
I do want to speak on that real quick though, because I used to follow a set of teachers who had that teaching where the kingdom is run by a king, not political advisors. And so I kind of understood that for a little bit, where it was like, look, if your pastor's not makes a decision you don't like or whatever, just find a different church. And until I started studying the actual biblical church, where they had elders and they could remove a teacher if they were teaching heresy. And so whenever you have a church where the pastor is the end all be all of everything, and there's nobody that can make any overriding decisions, they're abusing that mind of they're the king of that church. And I was in that for a little bit, so
Wow.
at least theologically, I was there.
Last one, Jeremiah.
Okay. Prosperity teaching versus meek and humble poor teaching.
This is a whole topic right here.
We was going back and forth on the phone about that joint. So, and the last one, pay to play musicians, meaning like people are getting paid. Musicians are coming there getting to
that's
play.
Literally every church does that.
Yeah, I know. That's why we.
So I don't even know how to put that one on there. But the prosperity one is serious. There are a lot of people who take advantage of certain scriptures to make themselves rich and make people feel like their job is to make me rich so that you can get rich. And that's a scary thing. Like whatever you want, just say it and you'll have it type preachers. That is scary because they're counting on you. They're counting on your greed to feed their greed. That's literally all it is. And that's just a scary thing to do. So we could do a whole show on that, but yes, watch out for those kind of anything that makes it seem like, because there are blessings around those things, but when somebody takes advantage of it and you see the fruit of their preaching is them just wearing just a bunch of expensive stuff and driving expensive stuff, it's just why are you keep pushing this agenda? Is it to keep that, or do you really care about them? And that's you got to really be careful about that.
B Plus asked a great question. He said, how do you talk to friends who are part of a church that are exhibiting some of these red flags, especially given how the churches prop themselves up as us against the world?
You got to pray. No, I mean, the only way for some people to get stuff is to see it happen themselves. We got to see it. Or the Holy Spirit.
Hey, and I was talking to y'all, but y'all weren't listening.
The only way to see, you have to see it for yourself.
Our ex-pastor was best friends with yours.
Right. So
it's different. It's different. Not best friends. They just preach at each other's churches at times, but not best friends.
Yeah. All right. So the best thing is not to have that attitude of "I told you so." That's the best thing. Not to right. Just pray, man. Like it's hard. It's hard to see it. It's hard to come to grips with it. Yeah. It's really. It's not their fault. Like there be what?
We've had that conversation before.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard for somebody to see it. So be graceful towards them, because when you're in it, you can't see it. Like if
no, you told me to look out for it.
Yeah. I know. What I'm saying is, if it ends up happening, don't have a "I told you so" attitude, because that could hurt as well. Because there's a lot of people that used to go there that are not even living anything like a Christian now, because that pain could really destroy you, or it can make you realize, oh man, I put too much faith in a person. I need to get back to Jesus. You know what I mean? So just
especially if they're new converts. I've seen a lot of people who were newer at our church, former church. Once that shut down, it just like some of them people, if you see them on Facebook and stuff, they don't even do the church thing no more, or they're into something else. You know what I mean? So it's like,
because you put so much faith in a person, it's like, man, if you could fake that, then I don't believe nobody. I don't believe none of y'all. Y'all all fake it. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
All right.
I know there was one comment at toward the beginning that I just want to agree with, and it was that it's sad that so many people are celebrating this thing.
This is a sad
when
day.
I feel like we should be heartbroken for the church. Like, I mean, be happy that people in abusing power are being removed, but we need to be hurting for the church right now. This is the time to hurt, not to celebrate and clap and
hurting,
be happy.
And hurting for the victims who had psychological and spiritual abuse keeping their mouths closed all this time. That's the tie a millstone around your neck and throw it into the ocean type stuff that the Bible talks about. Abusing that level of people are trusting their heart and their soul with you. And to do that is like the worst offense ever. So yeah, just pray for these people, man. They're gonna, everybody that is at a Hillsong church now is about to experience what me and Jeremiah experienced. It's devastating. It's devastating. All right, let's get back into it. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Shantana, DJ Jeremiah. Let go.
Trackstarz, and if you haven't already signed up for Nectar distribution, Honestly, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, so let me tell you about it. You get unlimited uploads of your music throughout the year. You also keep 100% of the rights. You get to use our one-of-a-kind single maximizer tool, in which not only do we push your music to the streaming sites like Spotify, Google Play, and Tidal, but we also push it to music blogs so you can get more eyes on your music. And the best part about it is, it's only $19.99. No, not a month, but a year. Again, what are you doing? I don't know what you're doing with your life. Go ahead and sign up today for Nectar distribution at nectardistro.com, and we'll see you inside.
I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah, yeah. I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah, yeah. Simmer down, no, won't be civilized. I won't be denied. Quit asking me how I rise, you know why. I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah, yeah. I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah, yeah. I'm supreme, yep, that's just how it seems. Cause it's not only me, it's my whole team. You know we got the wings. The sky's the limit, I ain't alone, I've been equipped, yeah, yeah. I got the wings, you have been warned, now I'm about to dip, yeah, yeah. All the way up like escalator, I'ma make it count like estimator. Breathe it all in, no respirator, ain't no cooling me off. When I'm with the team, it's gonna always be high. We the regime, we the top of the top. The time is ours, who watching the clock, ain't no slowing us down, we just popping the pop. Yeah, we gon' turn it up like yeah. We gon' turn it up like yeah. We gon' turn it up so high, yeah. Straight bringing heat, I'm on fire, see them flames, yeah. Why? Cause the wings get me higher than them planes, yeah. Up so high, super fly with the team. We all got the steam, that's us that you hear and scream. I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah, yeah. I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah, yeah. Simmer down, no, won't be civilized. I won't be denied. Quit asking me how I rise, you know why. I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah, yeah. I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah, yeah. I'm supreme, yep, that's just how it seems. Cause it's not only me, it's my whole team. Yeah. We got the wings. You cannot get me to chill, I'm Uncle Phil, known for taking the wheel. Plus I be practicing skill, it come in handy, feel like I'm running a drill. Every time I'm in a lane, yeah, I'm shooting my shot, I'm in beast mode. The wing work, do a fly job, they gon' probably think I had a G code. I don't need those, I'm a real winner. Super cold like a real winner, even in stress, I keep it going. Yeah, I keep it going like a fidget spinner, like yeah. Just ain't no denying us, you know we gon' light it up, yeah. Straight bringing heat, I'm on fire, see them flames, yeah. Why? Cause the wings get me higher than them planes, yeah. Up so high, super fly with the team. We all got the steam, that's us that you hear and scream. I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah. I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah. Simmer down, no, won't be civilized. I won't be denied. Quit asking me how I rise, you know why. I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah. I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah. I'm supreme, yep, that's just how it seems. Cause it's not only me, it's my whole team. You know we got the wings.
Yeah, man, I'm battling. I'm mad at this, the catalyst is flashy passiveness. Pass through atoms, to the first atom. You can see my pedigree is adamant. All the demons that my dad got, I'm practicing. Man, they calling on me like Kaepernick. Can we break these chains, man, imagine it. Can't fake this pain, man, it's taxing, man. They key off, man, they key off my head. Can't see off the ledge. If you see me off, you're dead. Yeah, to that, he blew out a text, but I barely eat off what I read. I flee off instead, yeah, why like bad women, bad thoughts, bad vision, bad habits, bad days. Why God, don't I look at how the apple falling and ain't that far. How my supposed to look right at my seat and tell them that part. So I took the S out and changed the last name. My father's seeing past to us all, watching cascade the best safe. Throw all the demons inside of the bed. bat cave. Batt's a bad man and Batt's a bad name. I take aim at the mainframe and change things. They don't really hear what I'm talking about. Like cover, we lock down. Like most, we pop out. Like pigs, we cropped out. We the ones they talk about. So pass me the rock now. These thoughts I jot down. These problems will compound. I'm seeing the cycle, I'm fed up. There's better ways to get your bread up. We gotta change before they dead us. My DNA changed for the better. Young king in his John with the wisdom. Play smart, play hard, hear the difference. Boy came with the slash like he's pimping. I subtract that bull crap by my system. Young, black king and a Christian. I was really out of luck, he redemptive. Boy had to boss up at the trenches. I said my DNA changed and I meant it. Yeah, I'm a new breed. Where I do things that come from the deuce creed. I'm a new seed, I only do like one thing. Maybe 2 things, a kick, get, then pray. Like Bruce Lee. All that walking and talking and capping and flossing. And now you was holding it grudge. Cause we are the recipe. You was not testing me. Oh, heaven's under me. You was not next to me, boy.
Yo, what up? It's your girl Portia Love, and you want to feel with who? The Trackstarz.
Yo, it's entertainment report time. Let's get it going. All right, man. We just talked about Hillsong, so of course we kind of alluded to Sam Collier, who was on our show before, him and the Truth, talking about Hillsong Atlanta. He has left Hillsong. As Hillsong's church scandals continue to pile up, Sam Collier has had enough. The megachurch's first lead black pastor is calling it quits following a series of scandals that piled on in this week's resignation of a founding pastor, Brian Houston. It became a lot for our church, for our young church, Collier told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. A lot of our members were becoming really fatigued with a lot of the scandals and have to talk about it so much. I say this all the time, that the trust is the only thing you have when building a church. People have to trust you if they're going to donate and they're going to support it. Collier has not been accused of any wrongdoing and is planning to plant a new church on Easter Sunday. He estimates about 90% of Hillsong Atlanta leadership will follow him. So keep him in your prayers, man. We're praying for you, Sam, man. You know, we love you, bro. Yeah, man. We're praying that everything goes well on your new startup, man. And I know that's going to be, sometimes I can feel harsh or anything. So, man, yeah, man, we praying for him, man. So Easter Sunday is a great time to start something new and everything like that, man. So yeah, man, I hate that happened, man. Cause I mean, they was doing so much at Hillsong Atlanta, man. You know, I mean, like Brian was saying earlier, like kind of bridging the gap with using Christian hip hop and praise and worship and like R&B type style music, and the Truth was over that, and even the Apologetics and everything, man. So shout out to them, man. Shout out to Sam Collier, man. I know that's a hard, tough decision, man. So lift him up in your prayers. All right. Erica Campbell of gospel duo Mary Mary is calling out Mr. West. She shared advice for Kanye West as he's going through divorce and media scrutiny due to the public outbursts. Campbell told TMZ she is praying for the rapper and the fashion mogul as his feud with his ex-wife Kim Kardashian intensifies in the public eye. TMZ asked Campbell if she feels West's behavior during the week kind of goes against what he does on Sunday. She replied, "I just think if you're trying to be like God on Sunday, then you should be like him on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as well." Speaking to TMZ, the singer made it clear that no one is a perfect person. Does that mean perfection? Not at all. She said of West, but it means that your choices should be governed by what you believe. You know, if you believe in faith and being kind and being gracious, being understanding, being patient, then you've got to be that way all week long. Campbell emphasized that she would be praying for Kanye because she understands how painful divorce can be. We all go through things. She know that we don't always get it right. So prayers up for Kanye. So what y'all think, man? What y'all think about that? She right?
I mean, it's good. It's good advice.
Yeah. All right, man. Glowchella coming to the Bay. Miles Minnick is bringing something big to the Bay this summer. Glowchella. I like the name, Miles. If you watching this, I love the name, brother. But every time somebody try to do something Chella, Coachella come knocking. And when they come knocking, they say you can't use that name. It's a trademark situation. So, but prayerfully, you can still use the name. But anyway, Glowchella will be hitting the Bay June 11th. So Miles Minnick explained Glowchella to Rapzilla like this. I can't speak for other festivals, but I know for ours, we plan to hold a mixer for Christian creatives to build community amongst like-minded individuals, have an entire portion of our day dedicated to highlighting up-and-coming artists, Super Smash Brother tournament, a beat battle, while ensuring that the evening ends in worship and prayer for salvation. After June 11th, the Bay Area will never be the same. You feel me? So, man, go check it out, man. I'm sure he right now, I remember him saying Hovey is one of the main artists and another gentleman as well. I can't remember his name. But if you're down with that, if you want to go to it, June 11th in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland, Glowchella will happen. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. Shout out to Miles Minnick, man. All right, man. GH3 Stellar Award nominee. God's House of Hip Hop has been a candidate for the Stellar Awards this year again. Shout out to MC Nice. Shout out to GH3 in the category for Station of the Year. We need your help by going to vote for it. GH3 has been a staple in CHH when it comes to CHH on the radio, man. We've been doing great things. We've been winning that award. You was there one year we won, right, Ryan?
Yes,
Talk about that a little bit, man.
No, it was dope, man. We had a chance to go out to Vegas, kick it with MC Nice and the other host of the station's shows. So really good time. Me and my wife had a good time. Got to hold that award, take a photo with that award. It's a priceless moment. Yeah.
Dope, man. Dope. All right, man. So we're coming towards the end of Women's History Month this month. And I think when we talk about female MCs in our space, we always talk about the Jackie Hill Perrys, the AI Anomalies, the Wande, the Angie Rose, the Portia Loves, and so many other dope, talented female rappers in our space. But I would like to end this this bigging up of women in the culture by talking about some of the OGs of the game who was doing their thing in the 90s, the 2000s. So I just want to give them a shout out real quick. So I'm gonna shout out MC GG, Alicia Tyler of A1 Swift, Pooh of True to Society, Tragedy, Jazz of Unity Clan, MOC, Sister D, Chicana, Light the Flow Minister, Elsie of Newbury, Zane One of Tunnel Rats, Butter P, of course, for Rayma Soul, Heesan Lee, Erica Combo. Y'all don't know about Susie Rock. Y'all, I think y'all do. Y'all, you know what I mean? Saying I don't know how y'all feel, but Susie Rock, she was putting it down in that time. Mahogany Jones and Dice Gamble. So, and if I forgot anybody, please don't charge it. Don't put it against me. I don't know everybody. I know everybody, but some of these were the women that was holding it down back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, man, continue to all the ladies out there behind the scenes, in front of the camera, on making production, doing your thing. Please continue to stay true to the Lord, one, and then two, continue to make that history. We need you. We thank you and salute to you. All right, comment section this week, Scooty Wop, Mid Madness, Marquise Anthony, March Madness, Raging Moses, The Flourishing, Cephas, America Shall Be Saved, One Day, They Didn't Know 2 single, Joey Vantes, The Great Reset single, Christian Grey, Uber single, Q Flow, North single, Chris Sincere, Nobody Knows single, Mikey J, Hands in the Sky single, and CRFT and Battz and No Big Deal got a record that's kind of fire. It got some blazing on it called Gratitude single. And of course, man, if you want to hear them songs, the Milk playlist is, we got you. Like the Milk playlist on Spotify, you know what I'm saying? And if all my R&B heads out there, Feel Good playlist on Spotify, like them, enjoy them. We update them bad boys weekly. So holla back at you. And that's it for the Intent Report. Anybody else got anything they want to say?
Jason, talk about your podcast, man.
Podcast. So I got Bible with Bordeaux. That is a Bible study podcast. So right now I'm going through the Gospel of John on there. So check that out. That's actually on my Solomon's Porch podcast YouTube channel. So Solomon's Porch podcast, we talk about things like the Batman movie, all the latest and greatest in the comic book world. We talk about those things as well as dive into very churchy topics, doctrine, theology, things like that. We try to mirror those two worlds because there's not a lot of safe places for Christians to go and be able to enjoy Star Wars, Batman, Marvel, all that kind of stuff, because most of that world is anti-Christian. So we wanted to have a platform where we could enjoy that and still be explicitly Christian. Yeah, so as far as podcasts, that's that.
Word on the street is that you didn't like our Batman situation. That's the word on the street. You didn't like our Batman movie situation.
I disagree. I mean, I disagree with the overall synopsis of that particular episode. Yeah, but hey, we can agree to disagree. Okay, this isn't a staple of doctrine theology. So
yeah, it is.
We good. I mean, Batman is in the sense of comic book world, but it's all right. Y'all can be wrong every now and then. This is cool.
All right, y'all. Let's get back into it. You in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Shantana, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.
I wanted to make sure you guys know all about the official Trackstarz Universe. So, if you'd like a free Trackstarz t-shirt, yes, as well as free merch, discounts, and exclusive content, and of course, direct access to your favorite radio host, then this is for you. Make sure you go to trackstarz.com/official. That's trackstarz.com/official.
You are listening to the Trackstarz with Shantana, Ryan Righteous, and DJ Jeremiah.
Right now, you're in the field with the Trackstarz.
Trackstarz.
Ryan Righteous, Shantana, DJ Jeremiah.
Right now, you're listening to the Trackstarz.
You know what time it is.
Hey yo, what's good? It's your boy Name Gay, you Trackstarz music artist, and you are in the field with the family Trackstarz Radio.
Trackstarz Radio.
We got in the field, Trackstarz. Get it, got it, good.
Ain't no podcast beef. We got respect for y'all.
Yeah.
But respect the grind, baby. Respect the grind. I gotta go get the flex bombs today. Respect the grind.
I hate what I see in the mirror. What I saw got me scared to face the truth like I'm in a court of law. Frail disposition, immature decisions. The fruit of lacking growth, that's what I call slim pickings. The only thing slim about me, my disguise, yelling unashamed all while ashamed of my size. Body and ego, poly and negro. Head too big for me to see like when they blocked the screen. So when friends became brands, I felt treated like a has-been. Reality check I collect without cashing. Came to terms with it. I learned business grows with earned interest. Wish I was worth that transaction. Christianity brings attachment, but Christian ain't on the same line as friends like fractions. Man in the mirror talk, run it like Madden. Red like this A5 somewhere out in Aspen. That's why I'm anxious asking artists for a feature. Even tripping cray because I know they see my value. Fragile heart torn apart from broken values. I confess, man, I see myself as less than. Or more or less, really less than the rest, man. But they ain't responsible for my weakness. Despite my secrets, man, and my brother's keeper. No shade, just light on my true colors. Most of us colorblind, pretended like undercover. Airing out my dirty laundry. I had to, man, even if it haunts me. Fighting for sanity is daunting. Private thoughts made public to risk desire. Don't misconstrue my confession for friendly fire. Insecurity makes you question who's by you. Villa I'd invented, sipping vino by the water. Not bad for a kid without his father. From the sticks known to roll up with the trees. Now it's St. Mark acting blackish for the Europeans. White cues, proper English run the table, that's the object. Scratch that, I see they stripes and they ain't solid. Trying to belong far from home like college. Like that Marvel movie, it's an illusion, I got it. Hard to have the skin, most hated by most. It sucks to be alone, no matter the coast. To be accepted for your dances, but rejected for your stances. Tick-tock, time flies, but they waste it on a post. Thoughts in my mind on the way to the flight. Came from the bottom, every step's a new height. Day one or one day, that's the fight. Becoming who I am, man, I saw the light. Yeah. Work hard, play harder, that's the motto. Work smart, play smarter, that's what I know. Bad company corrupts, watch who you follow. Trust is the easiest thing to get. Except when you lose it like placing bets. To earn it back is like trying to pay a debt. That'll leave you feeling all regret. Had to make it off the plantation. Evangelicals love me less than this damn nation. Walked on eggshells enduring this fan hatred. Fake friends telling me to have patience. Like I ain't spend years assimilating for acceptance. Like I ain't working they churches despite their ethics. Like I ain't see them sit silent when cops behead us. Done with people using me for white blessings.
What's going on? It's your girl Angie Rose, and if you didn't know, you're La Familia, and you're in the field with the Trackstarz.
All right, back in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Make sure you go to trackstarz.com for all the latest. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Yeah, man. So, like I said, Noteworthy, we are pushing these, man. We want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you guys are thinking. And here comes Ryan popping back into our lives. Popping back into our lives. So send in your Noteworthies, trackstarz.com/Noteworthy. Send in anonymous messages to us, and we'll talk about them and try and dig in and see if we could get some answers for you. All right. So this one is interesting. Y'all get ready. Yeah, let's just get into it. Why so apologetic to homosexuality? As time has gone on through society, I feel that we as Christians have gotten a little too apologetic toward those in the LGBTQ plus community. I mean, we always make it a point to almost apologize for them. We try to make it so clear that it almost feels we accept it without accepting it. We'll say stuff like, oh, I have friends that are gay to save ourselves from looking bad in the world's eyes. I get grace, but I don't go around telling people, oh, I have friends that drink their life away or smoke their lungs to coal just so they feel more comfortable. Truth is sin. Do we really need to treat this with so much sensitivity? When we do this, we, the Christians, give the homosexual sinners the acceptance they want without addressing the issue. We should be the ones to help them out of that and not lie and act like they're okay. Your thoughts? What y'all think?
Ryan, go ahead.
Why?
You know
the situation. You know how we do this.
I'm sorry, I didn't
know
he
was coming back.
We've been doing this for almost 17 years.
I didn't know what y'all were doing. I'm just catching up. What are y'all doing? I'm just kidding. No, so I had my 2 cents to say about it. Whenever we do these planning calls, so y'all got to know, like Trackstarz, we don't just get on here and just do whatever. We do planning calls, and so whenever we get on the planning calls, I always say, what I think about a topic, and I was a bit berated on this topic, just because I feel like, I was presented with a scenario where somebody's describing this to be the new norm for my children, right? Not necessarily the one I grew up with, but the one that my children are growing up with. And that's true, it is. And so, the conversations around this are maybe not that, we're being sensitive to it, but it exists in our community. And we all know now that there are laws that are being written that prevent us from saying certain things about it in open spaces and publicly. And so it's just getting to that point right now where it's like, okay, either I am, I believe in my heart what the word of God says about this particular sin. And I, take that to heart and I live that my life, as a staple according to it. And I'm not necessarily sure that I am the person that goes out and tells everyone how I feel on a public open platform. And if that's something that, I can do at this point. So I'm not saying that we're apologetic to it, but I do feel like we have a point that we get to where it's like, okay, this has been talked about. People know the Christian stance on it. The world has already, painted us as a hate speech, this entire time about this. So in my mind, I'm like, this is just one of those things, man, where I feel like we are painted into a corner. I mean, we'll continue to talk about sin because sin is sin. And I don't know if we're able to generalize into certain people this particular sin that they're going through versus the sins that we go through and the sins that other people are going through. So I don't really have much of a stance on the response to this. I don't think we're being sensitive when you say, I have a gay friend or this, that, and the other, because I have had a ongoing friendship with someone who dealt with this, and he and I had real conversations about it, right? And it wasn't just me talking to a stranger on the street. This was my homeboy that was dealing with this, and I was helping him go through that. And that's where I think, my Christian stance and my belief in God was able to help him and not necessarily be considered like hate speech toward him. Like every time I opened my mouth about a question he had, it was coming from a place of love and understanding for him dealing with a sin that he felt is beyond him, right? And so I feel like that's the way we have to continue to approach this sin and every sin.
I would say the reason why we apologize so much is because we are the ones that's doing the most hateful things towards the LGBT. And I feel like, yes, we kind of like what we said earlier. We don't call down bad church leadership. We don't call down people in the church doing crazy things. But when we go step outside, we outside at the rallies, at the LGBT rallies with signs that say God hate fags, or we have signs that you're going to hell and them stuff like that. But we don't keep that same energy for people who have issues with pride. We don't have the same issues with people who are heterosexuals who are just tearing up the church, sleeping with everybody. You know what I mean? And that's what they're saying from our standpoint. It's like, y'all don't keep that same energy. That same energy is not the same. You know what I mean? But y'all, we get it. We get that to some people, this is a sin. You know what I mean? But at the same time, y'all have sinners in y'all church. Y'all don't call out on stuff. But y'all out here with these marches, and y'all at the marches with these signs and all this other stuff. So that's why some Christians, when they meet people at the LGBT, they say, hey, we're sorry on the behalf of other Christians because we act like jerks towards y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's first, I would say that to anybody that's that to answer that part of the question. And of course, I mean, I think I don't think we're paddling. I don't think we're like cuddling it. I think we're just saying, I don't think the church handled this well. My wife says it all the time. She said, I don't think we've handled the gay situation better in the church at all. We just swept it under the rug. For so many years, we've had people in the church who was choir directors that was gay. We had people leading the choir that was gay. That's the same thing, I think. But people in the church gay that's in prominent positions. But we've never handled that situation because we were either afraid of them leaving the church, kind of like we talked about earlier, or we were afraid that they was going to expose stuff at the church. So it's like, it was a bad situation, but you were bragging them, you were talking bad about them. You know what I'm saying? So I think at the end of the day, that's where the apologetics come from, is like every other sin is okay in our eyes because we're not as vocal about it as we are as homosexuality. So I think that's why the thing comes from. For whoever wrote this, that's what the problem is. That's why we're so apologetic, because people are like, "Yo, you're trying to witness to somebody, and you like God." They, like Ryan kind of said earlier, his friend saying God hates me, or he said, I think he sent a call, God hates me, and Ryan like, no, God doesn't hate you. Like, you have to have those conversations, because they're not seeing stuff from people who are legit Christians or people who are loving and trying to help people get out of situations. They're not seeing that. They're just seeing people say, we hate gay people. That's all they're seeing, and they think it's every Christian that's the same way. So sometimes you feel like you have to apologize. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, now it's almost sometimes now the equivalent to that will be some white Christians that's saying, hey, bro, to black people, hey, I'm not like the rest of those white folks. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting all that type of stuff too now. So it's crazy, man. But that's another thing. So yeah, go ahead.
Jason, what you got, man?
I'm reading the comments right now, and which is always a bad thing to do. So I think I'll agree with
because they're probably coming for me, right?
I agree with DJ Jeremiah, and that I feel like, and with Maya and many others, I do feel like the church. Well, I mean, you didn't speak to this specifically, but I do think that the church has had an issue dealing with it. But I also understand that the church, this is a totally different type of issue than any other issue. Nobody else is advocating that alcoholism is perfectly fine and that God's okay with it. Nobody's advocating that a cheater is perfectly fine and God is okay with it. Nobody advocates for those things as much as they do the LGBTQ community. I saw a comment earlier. Someone said, another sexual noteworthy. We worship sexualization. We worship sex. And is this PG-13 or PG?
Just say what you want, man.
We worship orgasms and the source of orgasms that we choose.
Went too far.
NC-17.
I'm just playing with you. Go ahead, bro.
Come on, keep talking. We want to the X-rated next.
Like, you know, there's so many other things that nobody advocates for except this topic. And I think other Christians get frustrated because it's like, we're not supposed to be saying that any source of sin is okay. I don't think that we should push harder on this because it's push harder against us. I don't think that's right to do. But I do understand why some people do push like harder against this, is because it gets pushed right in our faces. I get that. But again, like, nobody's going to tell a married man, oh, it's perfectly fine if you go have sex with another woman. It's fine. You're following your sexual preferences or whatever. That's not cool. I mean, so I don't understand why we're okay with saying, oh, it's perfectly fine. You know, sexual orientation is different from every other type of sin. I don't understand that. Other than that's just a sexual thing, and we seem to be okay with, like, I don't get it. Theologically, I've, you know, everybody that I know has done research, actually exegeting text in scripture, is that it is something that's wrong. But it's the only sin that we'll give a pass to, primarily because it's sexual for some reason. I don't get that. I mean, if Ryan came to me and was like, hey, man, I think I'm not going to say Ryan.
Say Ryan. He got the waves.
Say Sean.
I didn't want to point out because it's my show or to say.
Ryan even dressed up for the situation today. Go ahead.
And my best friend came to me and was like, hey, man, I think I'm going to go and check out this lady I'm working with. Like, you know, I'm going to go holler at her or whatever and do this, that, and the other. Like, you know, it's not going to hurt anybody, right? And my wife's not going to know about it. She's cool with it. Like, what's wrong with that? I don't see how we would be against that, but okay with homosexuality when they're both equally identified as sin in scripture.
All right, let's try to be as honest as possible here, because there's a lot of things that go unsaid. But let's just say it.
Go for it, Sean. Get a shut out.
I know I'm a bigot, y'all. I'm sorry.
So Jeremiah alluded to some of this, is that this has been handled wrong for centuries, right? I think we're seeing the backlash of when you treat a group of people a certain way for a long time, and they got the gun. The rabbit got the gun. We're experiencing the wrath of the rabbit right now. And I think a lot of the reason this question is being asked is because a lot of people are scared because that group has a lot of power. And if they deem you as being in violation of their presence or their authority, they can shut you all the way down from your job, from your career, from your business, from everything. They can shut you completely down. And I think a lot of people are afraid of that because especially, and the reason why entertainers are specifically afraid of this is because the entertainment industry is so accepting of this. So if you come in saying you don't approve of that, you are immediately locked out of every single possible door there can be. And a lot of people make the calculation of, well, if I'm locked out, then I can't do anything. So let me at least just get in so I could do something at all. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are making those calculations of, man, I got to soften my tone on it a little bit. I don't want to be so blunt about it because I don't want people to shut me out completely from the jump without giving me a chance. There are pastors that we love that were, I'll just say it, Louis Giglio was supposed to do the commencement speech for Obama. And then people pulled up some old sermons that he did and like, oh, he's against this and he's against that. And he had to back out of the whole thing because he got bullied into backing down because of stuff he said in the past. And it's like, he's like, I don't want to be known as the anti-gay pastor. That's not what I'm about. I'm not taking back what I said, but I'm not going to be, my only thing people know about Louis Giglio is anti-gay. That's reducing my work down to one issue, and that's not fair. So I think people have seen enough of those instances where they're like, let me just stay away from this because it's just not worth the fight. It's too polarizing. It's too crazy. I'm not going to say it's okay. I'm not going to berate it every chance I get. I'm just going to talk about it in general, say what I need to say, and move on to other things, so I don't get pigeonholed. It's just what it is. And we've been on this show. There's in meetings where like, okay, here's another topic about this. Again, man, we can't do that again. We've been on this every single week. There's something that happens in culture. We could talk about this literally every week. There's something related to this topic every single week if we wanted to get on and talk about it again and again and again. I think what people are worried about, and the person asking this question is, are we getting to the point where the fear is so high that you're now saying it's okay? I think a lot of people are getting to that place. The truth is that almost everybody has somebody they know that they love that identifies as this. And when it comes home to you that way, when you love somebody that is telling you, I tried to fight this. I tried to everything I could. I got married. I abstained. I worked in the church for 16 years. I cannot shake this. And then they have a whole group of people telling them, you don't have to fight it. You don't have to repent from it. It's who God made you. You can still love Jesus and be this. Yeah. That's almost irresistible for somebody who is trying, and the same people they're trying for are telling them they're trash. And then you have a whole group of people telling you, no, you're exactly who God wants you to be. That's an irresistible temptation. You already have all these feelings, and then there's a welcoming group. So a lot of Christians feel like they have to counteract that welcome and try to be as welcoming back. You know what I mean? And it's an imperfect science. A lot of people don't know what to do. They see people that treat people like trash, and they're trying to be the anti to that. And well-meaning people are still trying to figure out exactly how to address this because they don't want to be mean. They don't want to be bigots. They don't want to treat this sin as like it's the worst sin ever, but they still want to hold up to God's standard and bring people into a relationship with Jesus, knowing that that sin will need to be addressed by Jesus himself at some point. That's just a hard balance for Christians at this point. It's going to get worse, just so you guys know.
Yeah. Well,
I think another way we handle it. Sorry, Jeremiah.
I was about to say real quick. Also, though, from the biblical side, truth is offensive. I mean, I think that's one of the things that I constantly say on our call on Thursday nights. Like, yo, truth is offensive. It offends everybody. It offends the heterosexual player. You know what I mean? The promiscuous girl. It offends everybody because it shows you God's standard versus your standard. And if your standard is right here and God's standard says you got to meet the standard, and you can, with my help, you can meet the standard, but you like, this standard is better for me. I feel like this standard is better for me. It's offensive. It's offensive to all of us. And I think what it is it's just been beaten. And I think the media also has helped. I would say the media has helped showing us in a bad light. You know what I'm saying? And that's the enemy. You know, that you could tell that's straight Satan. It's like the media is like, look, we're at this gay pride, and guess who's in the corner? This church from Midwest country. He's right here. Look, they got the flag. You know what I'm saying? And it's like marching, saying all this crazy stuff. People about to fight them, and they just say that represents the church. So I think that's something we as a church, and shout out to Legion. I see him in the comments saying like not all churches are like that, of course, and then the churches that are not like that, they need to be praised for how they treat LGBT people and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I just think that's one of the things though. But as for Christians, we got to keep in mind that people are going to be offended by living the way God is telling you to live.
It is getting harder and harder in today, even by awesome, super duper awesome Christians to look in the camera when asked and say homosexuality is a sin. God doesn't like it. If you're going to get close to Jesus, that is something you will have to address and it has to be sanctified out of your life. That's hard to say now because as soon as you say something like that, you are now going to have to answer that question every other time you're on camera for the rest of your life. They will make sure this is the worst thing you've ever done in your life. And again, that is also our fault. And that's kind of the hard part, is when you treat somebody a certain way for so long, and if you don't believe what I'm saying, you're just going to have to just research. The way the church has treated homosexuals for a long time, that specific sin has been atrocious. And now that there's organization that is supporting and defending them, we're now getting the backlash of that treatment. So now it's, how do I deal with this to still say, hey, this is a sin, just like I sin, just like everybody sins. It needs to be sanctified. Just we're doing it together, not just me telling you to do it. It's we're all doing this. How do you say that and also battle this cap that is now put on your career, because you cannot get too far in this industry and say stuff like that for too long. You're not allowed. So what do you do?
And honestly, it's not just the entertainment industry no more. Honestly, if you have a stance like that, if you at your regular job and you say, hey, I think blah, blah, blah is this, they're going to be like, oh, word? Okay. Thank you. See you next week. Or it's nice working with you. Like, it's not just entertainment no more. It's everywhere. Yeah. So what you was going to say something, Jason. Go ahead, man.
I'm just going to say, I think the way people handle it, the reason why I suck at handling it, by the way, I have a sister who was lesbian. We have conversations about it. I'm as frank with her as I would be with anybody else. But we have spiritual gifts. We have different spiritual gifts, right? Mine is teacher. So I'm more about getting the truth across than making you feel good about yourself. There's people who are encouragers. There are people who have just different types of ways that they deal with people. And so like, I get excited about teaching people the truth of scripture, exegeting text in order for them to understand what it says.
Yeah.
I don't get as much excitement out of seeing people like, yay, I'm so happy. Like, I don't really get that as much. So for me, I'm more concerned about teaching them proper doctrine or teaching them, because even my sister would ask me, she was like, well, what are your thoughts if I were to get married? And we have a conversation about it. Would you be at my wedding? We have a conversation about that. I'm not going to tell you the conversation because it's nobody's business, but in general, though, I think the way we handle it, and I just know I'm not that person. So if someone needs counseling on this matter, I'm not that counselor for that person. I'm just not that. And I think we need to understand, like, if we're not good with dealing with people on a certain issue, then we don't need to deal with that issue. I think that's where the church is going.
Jason, I want to say this. I want to say this real quick. And I think this is maybe where a lot of people who feel like this needs to be pushed even harder by the church, where I kind of part ways with them. There is absolutely no point if you're successful in making somebody stop being gay if they don't know Jesus, if they're not saved. Literally wasting your time. And I think sometimes it feels like if somebody is not a Christian, none of this matters to them. They could clean up this behavior or that behavior or stop doing this bad thing or that bad thing. None of that is going to save them. The first thing we should be talking to them about is how much Jesus loves them, how much he did for them, and who you were created to be first. That if they don't have a concept of that and they reject that, then talking about their homosexuality is a waste of time. Like, who cares what they do after that? If they reject Jesus, then there's nothing else really to talk about. And I think so many times we're trying to force people to act like a Christian when they've already said to you, I don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? If you reject Jesus, then your behavior is now your business. Like, this is not we're not called to judge the world. We're called to witness to them and bring them into the body. If they reject that, you not being gay is not going to do anything for anybody. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is a waste of time. So I just feel like sometimes we get in this crusader mindset where we need everybody to act right and do right. And we got to prove our Christianity. And when we say something bold on TV or on the radio, and we get high fives from our Christian friends, like, yeah, you said it. It's like, that's not the point. The point is helping these people get to know Jesus and bringing them into the kingdom. And then from there is discipleship. We're trying to disciple people who don't want to be Christians. Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
I think one of the things I would say is pray, man. I think that's the thing that sometimes we forget to do as Christians, is praying for people, like asking God, like praying for your person on your job, praying for people in general. I think that's what we messed up as Christians. I think we have the Superman syndrome where we want to save the day, and it's like, no, God saves the day. We have to pray. We could be used by God to reach people, but God is the ultimate person that, you know, will reach that person. You know what I mean? And sometimes some people come willingly. Some people have to come to their lowest of their lowest, and then they recognize, God, I need you. You know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, it's really about praying. We have to get back to being a praying church. I think we're so out and trying to fight, and we're losing battles because we're not willing to strategize, and our strategy is prayer. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this is a tough one. It's always tough because I think this is one of our most challenging topics as Christians of today. Is dealing with every letter in the LGBTQIA plus blah blah blah.
Say it wrong.
It's every single
John's already in trouble.
Every single one of those letters. Every single one of those letters is a whole nother conversation and a whole nother challenge. And that is one of our biggest challenges, is to make sure that we're still being who Jesus wants us to be in the world, not compromising, but also not coming off as jerks. That balance is really difficult. So just keep praying that the people who really are well-meaning get it right. People that are extreme and just want to mouth off, I don't care about them. So that's my stance on it. All right, let's get back into it. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.
Running with the Trackstarz, tracking with the Trackstarz, in the Trackstarz Universe. Ooh, stay on track with us.
All right, back in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. What's good?
Go ahead, do it, bro.
No, go ahead.
That was too quick. I didn't realize we were coming back in.
I said it like 3 times already, so.
I mean, you gonna do the spill? You normally do the spill with Ryan in here.
No, go ahead. I said it 3 times already.
Okay, cool. All right, man. It's line for line Showdown, right? Showdown 49. Hey, man, we got the guy right here who is responsible for the music submissions, Jason Bordeaux. You know what I'm saying? He's in the building. He's gonna challenge. He's gonna be the challenge for me today. He's gonna battle me. He picked the independent Christian songs. I picked the mainstream songs. So, of course, before we get this thing started, we got to do the disclaimer. Okay, the views and opinions of the Trackstarz and the Trackstarz Universe are not the views and opinions of the artist, label, producer, others. If you feel offended by this, please press stop now. If you're personally listening to Christian artists, this ain't your cup of tea. We have some good React videos. We have some dope topics, some interviews you can go check out. We're not copying any other battle format. We've been doing this since 2000. These Christian artists are not the version of anybody, the Christian version of anybody. It's just a bit. All right. So All right. So I feel like I'm on the dark side today. I'm Darth Vader now. I went from Anakin to
You're
Darth
the Batman.
Vader. I'm the Batman. So here we go. We're gonna start off with Logic, ISIS. Here we go.
It's logic, it's obvious. Just ask the audience. I've come to body this. Yes, it's egregious. I'm Regis. You Kelly. You push me. I'm Louis Vuitton. You at Target with your mom. On the internet, still hating on my last post. I just sent a steak back in Mastros. My God, me and Jordan need a couple hearses. Double homicide, kill the beat and the verses. Everybody living on the surface, but we came from the underground. Yeah, we deserve far from the minimum. Killing them with no Ritalin. And 5'9" was the middleman to get them in the same room.
All right, Jason, what you got?
I'm gonna tell you all this right now. I have yet. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you the song. The song is called "Highs and Lows." I'm not gonna tell you who it was by.
Okay, we doing that. All right, let's go.
Straight line with crooked six, and that's why he took the crucifix. Had to come walk among us and get in and mix. Show us how to serve each other and get the problems fixed. And we fight for the right to say hi. And despite all the gripes and the lights and the flights and the sights, higher than all the kites, fire to all the mics and fires without a mic. Retire with the Christ. In the end, we have more highs than our lows in my year. My bros in the Shire, we roll the pedal to the place where the fire. I rose and stand toe to toe with those who oppose in this battle ring.
All right, that was Jay Mordeaux, Highs and Lows versus Logic, ISIS. Who y'all going with?
Jason.
I gotta ask you on the song or on the show. How do you do this to me, bro?
They didn't even know who Jay Mordeaux is. They don't know who Jay Mordeaux is.
I got Logic, bro. I mean, I can't even lie.
So if
the Christian song is by Jason Bordeaux, in case y'all didn't know.
It's by
Jay Mordeaux. Jay Mordeaux. I'm trying to give you an outing. So
Bordeaux. Yeah, I would say I actually liked how your song sounded, Jason. It sounded the mix was just way different. So Logic's voice was like prominent on it, and yours sounded like an effect, you know. So I think that's probably what would reduce it for me. But the song, listening through that, the song sounded entertaining to me. So I liked it. But I do have Logic just because his vocal tracks sounded clean, you know, real clean, and he's really good. So there's no shame there.
Yeah.
Kenneth says you need your own line for line. That's what he said, Jay Mordeaux.
Well, I got an album coming out in a few months, so maybe when that drops, I might have a better chance.
Me and Jason.
But I will say this: Eminem, Lil Wayne, Jordan Lucas, Logic.
All because of beats. The beat, man.
He always puts you up against the best, but that's good. Sharpen yourself, man. Yeah, me and Jason got a real important song coming, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
All right, so Jason, you got my vote. I'm going with you. So. Logic.
Man.
All right, so with that being said, the score is 1. Logic is on the board for them, so 1-0. But I got your back, Jason. I got love for you, bro. You and Bubba. You told me you and Bubba Sparks, okay? You and Bubba Sparks, all right? You said that. That's what you told me earlier. So Bubba Sparks, when Bubba Sparks dropped that new, you got him, all right? Here we go. All right, so round 2. Wait, hold on 1 second. Round 2. I'm gonna start off with Russ Faith. Here we go.
From the onlookers, rappers reporting back to the pimps, who what we call hookers. Hand the bread over, the planets get older. Drowning in money, so all the women swam over. Landowner, I be draped in silk and diamonds. Thwart the danger, glory or gain, I will survive this up game that be playing with my psyche. Women trying to love me, rappers trying to fight me. Hope my girl loves me, she hope she just likes me. Betting on myself, I'm all in Phil Ivey. Faith will guide me. On the bad days, it carries me, and on the good days, it's beside me. High key the best out, y'all gotta respect.
Russ Faith, what you got, Jason?
I got brother. I just found for the first time ever. His name is Charles D. King. The Phoenix We Rise.
Coming where I'm from, folks living life, making something out of nothing, trying to find a way. Living on these crumbs, system made to keep us out of shape, but we built for the marathon. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will not feel no talk. When you see me, know I ain't by myself. Yeah, don't you doubt it? King bloodline, claiming every promise that's mine. Yeah, I gotta get it. one step at a time. Ain't no disguise.
Okay. Charles D. King, The Phoenix We Rise versus Russ Fate. Who y'all going with?
Who's first? Me?
You.
Yeah.
I got I didn't realize I was taking Ryan's place. Yeah, I got Charles D. King on that, man. Honestly, the beat for the Rush track was dope, but this had enough to match it to me, and I like the vocals better, or the lyrics better.
Yeah, I like Charles D. King. Sound almost like a rapping Kirk Franklin. I got Russ though, because Russ to me, oh my, I didn't even know he could do that. So he sounds almost like a different person from when I first heard him. So I got Russ on that.
Okay. I will go with Russ as well.
All right, that's 2-1 up here. What y'all got? What y'all got?
Let's see, right now it's 23 votes.
Charles D. King super chat. Okay.
Oh, right.
All right. There we go.
So it's really up to Universe now. What y'all got? Russ online.
Oh, Russ.
Ooh, Russ.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm up 2-0, man. I'm up 2-0. Okay. I like this. I'm liking it so far. All right, here we go. Round 3. Future. Worst day. Here we go.
I brought y'all these gifts and your heart all in peace. Had to pass out new whips, yeah, but all this one is me. Had a Glock under a pillow, she blunt for my game. Not trying to lie to you, I don't want to explain. Took off on a store run and jumped on a plane. Every single birthday, another private location. Better times, they the worst, they got too many to please. Spent over 100 G's and she still wasn't pleased. I done gave her 100 G's, all she want is me. It's a treat when we meet up, whenever we meet. Just want me to be there on February 14th.
All right, that was Future Worst Day, and it's funny to hear Future talk about relationship problems with how he do women. But that was Future Worst Day. Jason, what you got?
I got you on this one. Chris Thompson, Chrys Thompson, Ride Out.
All right, let's go.
Pushing 150 on the boulevard. Red line switching lanes in my favorite car. Take things as they come, that's the way they are. Pick you up on Sunset, what you waiting for? What you waiting on? Got the windows down and my station on. And the sunset's looking like a painting. And the paint job dripping like it's raining. Do you wanna ride? I don't wanna be alone now. Look me in my eye, I want you to put your phone down. We can catch a vibe on the C-Class leather.
Okay, that was Chris Thompson, Ride Out versus Future, Worst Day. Who y'all got?
Man, I got Chris Thompson all day.
Yeah, I got Chris Thompson. That was way better to me than what Future just did. Way better.
That's funny.
What you got, Jeremiah?
I am going to go with Chris Thompson too.
That was an easy win. So it's 3-0 up here. So unless Future got some major fans, which we know of one, what y'all got?
Yeah, Future is the most overrated artist. I don't understand why people like Future.
He's had some contributions, but yeah, Chris Thompson. That's
March
a sweep.
Madness. Yeah, it is.
That's a sweep.
All right, so Jason's on the board, baby boy, with the Christian artist right now. What he got on the board because Chris Thompson just swept that for nothing. So it is 2-1 going to round 4, and I'm gonna start off with this Gunna P Power. Here we go.
Get on crocodile Burke in the bank. You don't take breaks, you won't fuck on the day. Had to start get some purse for this lady. We go CC, make her wanna go crazy. I hit Mercedes inside the Mercedes. Power that P got you popping in places. I'm giving that a hit on that D-boy, baby. Giving that a D-boy, baby. I'm in that like to sit up. I drop it out like a dealer. Yeah, I left a few racks, pay your rent up. She made that little pop like a pimple. I'm parking right here in the center. Yeah, I tell her pull up, she gon' mop out the dribble. That's why I upgraded her.
All right, that was Gunna P Power. What you riding with, Jason? What we doing?
I think I got you again, bro. So this guy, I found him a couple months ago through music submissions. If y'all don't know, these songs are coming primarily from music submissions that come into Trackstarz. So if you want a chance to go on a Showdown, make sure you go submit your music. This is Ike Rhythm with Soulmate.
We in the clouds, I have your love, I don't wanna come down. You a real queen, you be rocking the crown. You got my back, you be holding me down. Beautifully and you are wonderfully made. Want me to go, you be giving them praise. You a real boss, doing your thing. Had to go shopping to get you a ring. Let's ride around town, listen to music. Or we can sit on the couch and watch movies. You know I'm with you, you ain't got a doubt. Sticking together, that's what this about. I got a plate, I done found me a real. I feel like I won a championship. Blessing keep coming, they dropping like rain. I am so
All right, that was Ike Rhythm, Soulmate versus Gunna P Power. Who you got?
Yeah, man, I got Ike Rhythm on this, man.
Ike.
Yeah, I got Ike as well. I like Gunna's beat. It had a bop to it, but yeah, he didn't add much to it. So I got Ike.
I go with Ike Rhythm is good. I'll go with that. He got a video dropping soon with this song too.
Okay. All right, so that's what, 3 up here. So
Yeah.
unless it seems like sweep.
Yeah, maybe another sweep.
What y'all got?
Jason may beat me, man, because the next one may be beating people.
It's hard to be on the mainstream side in front of a bunch of Christians trying to vote for songs.
I think if it's real good, it is. Ike online. All right, so that's 4-0 again. Tied up, Jason. 2-2. It's tied up. All right, round 5. Here we go. Machine Gun Kelly, Candy. Here we go.
Range like that, so I guess I never really changed like that. I be taking shots to the brain like that. Blacked out drunk and I came like that. Helping me to get through all the pain like that. Yeah, jumping through the rain like that. Running from the fame like that. On the front page like that. I'ma go insane like. You know I keep that candy, yeah. I need more like Mandy, yeah. Stay up, take Addies, yeah. I'm trying to fix this damage, yeah. You know
All right, that was MGK Candy. What you got?
I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of MGK. That was all right though, but I think my bro Rare Beat is gonna beat him out with "It's Okay."
In the dark, I didn't know where else to go in this life. Felt like I was inside a prison, almost gave up the fight. Wrestled with demons at the bottom, someone showed me the light. I'm at the end of my rope, I'm just not seeing things right. Hard to believe that a sinner like me can find some forgiveness. I don't deserve it, I admit I've been too proud for repentance. A voice in the wilderness calling me, I need to come home. A broken vessel, I was drowning, please don't leave me alone. Reaching up, somebody save me, I keep slipping away. I'm too tired to keep on running, turn it over today. If you've ever been down and out, you
Oh, okay. Rare Breed. It's Okay versus MGK Candy. Who you got?
Jason.
It's okay, MGK. You might can win another day, but not this one.
Oh, you're rhyming. Yeah, I got Rare Breed on that as well.
It's Rare of Breed, in case anybody don't got that.
Rare Breed. What you got, Jeremiah?
I gotta go with at least one of my picks. I'm gonna say MGK. I was going with one of my picks.
Which one was better?
I can't get voted in, so
which one is better?
I mean, here's the thing. One is talking about I'm struggling with this addiction. The other one says I'm giving it to God. You know what I'm saying? But then sometimes you gotta hit your rock bottom, and I don't think MGK hit his rock bottom. So I'm joking. I like the vibe better. Rare Breed.
What's going on?
I'm about to lose here, Sean. Come on, dude.
The mainstream side is hard here. I'm just telling you.
It is.
It's not easy.
Matchups is hard.
Everybody holy in here. Just yes, Christian. Yes, the Christian. All right, is that done?
Breed online.
Y'all don't think it's just that we got some dope songs on here? I mean,
yeah, we do.
Yeah, the last 3 have been like obvious.
Yeah, it was.
I agree with that, Christian fam. It sounded dated a little bit at first, but not necessarily dated, but regional. And I don't know where he's from. So then when I started thinking regional instead of dated, then it was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I think it's from Eminem's Shadow. He lived there for a while.
Who are you talking about?
Say what now?
MGK.
Oh, he's talking, are you talking about Rare Breed or y'all talking about MGK?
I'm talking about MGK.
Sure, who are you talking about?
I was talking about Rare Breed.
No, I was disagreeing with that. Nah.
All right, man. That was a 4-1 round for Rare Breed. It's okay. The score now is it tied? No, I'm losing.
Jeez. 3-2 CHH.
3-2. CHH, yeah. All right, man. Hopefully this can save me. Lord, please.
He always puts his big one at the end, so you know it's coming.
This may be a big joke.
Well, no, I selected it.
He did
the order.
Yep, I told Jason to do the order. Yep, he did the whole order.
All right.
Sean, you can do it too. You can do it too. Hey.
I could do the order? Okay, I'll do the order.
Do it too.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Kendrick Lamar, Family Ties. Here we go.
Omega, PG Lane rolling gang, SIE, don't you address me unless it with 4 letters. I thought you known better. I've been ducking the pandemic. I've been ducking the social gimmicks. I've been ducking the overnight activists. Yeah, I'm not a trending topic. I'm a prophet. I answer to Metatron, Nick Gabrielle. Looking for a better me. I am a legacy. I come from the 70s. The Al Green, offspring, guns and the melody. The big shot, wrist on cryotherapy. Soon as I press that button, gotta get right like the emblem's coming. Us too, when I like he ain't been through nothing. Day free, got at least 1 B in the oven. I'm tripping, I'm triggering my mental.
Amazing, brother. Papa.
All right. That was K-Dot, Family Ties. What you got?
Got my bro Mitch Durrell. Chop It Up Part 3.
I can take you all out quick like speed dates. Funny that you think you won't pay like cheapskates. Hope my whole team goes far like a free play. Rap most don't make it right like a cheesesteak. I got the cheat codes like a game shark. Smart raps, I'm too bright like a quasar. Homie, if you tryna start beef like steaks are. Situation gotta go left like race cars. Shopping like a chef and I gotta think I'm the best. I'ma slaughter the beat and get to the top and we'll break a sweat. Caught up with the vets and they look at me like a threat. Cause I'm hot as a cigarette. Got them shook and I got them vexed. Rapping that don't clap at you lyrically. I know y'all got a fear of me. None of y'all even near my weakest verse of the year and see. I'm a Christian who spiritually heal to be no conspiracy. I be spitting satirically, so I hope that you hearing me.
Okay.
Woo!
Okay.
That was Mitch Durrell. Chopper. Chopper. No, that's not it. Chop It Up Part 3. And Family Ties, Kendrick. Who you got?
Yeah, man. I'm going Mitch Durrell for the win.
For the headshot.
Okay,
yeah,
so I thought you made a mistake, Jason, going up against Kendrick at the end. But that wasn't Kendrick.
Well, I didn't pick Kendrick, so you got to remember that.
So that's what I'm saying. He picks the order of when his people go. Right? You didn't know who.
Gotcha.
That's what I mean. So he always saves the best for last. But to me, this wasn't like premier Kendrick. This is Kendrick being like, you know, people was saying I wasn't doing enough during the George Floyd days, and y'all overnight woke people. I've been doing this for years. Type that. It was okay. So I got Mitch on this. I think he stepped up.
You got who?
Mitch.
Oh, that's how you saying somebody else. See, the problem with this is both of them are good. And nobody else is going to vote for Kendrick. So,
bro, the polls is like tied.
That's how you make decisions. Just which one was better, man?
We need it.
Which one was better?
I don't want to lose, man. You got me competitive doing this now. I didn't care at one time. I didn't care about like
that was the whole point
and stuff like that.
That's how it started. It was competitive.
And then I talk to Mitch almost every day because we're on this battle rap chat thing. Oh man. God.
Did you tell him he was in it?
No, I didn't. He'd probably find out and be like, Jeremiah.
I didn't either.
I gotta give it to him.
It's hard accepting a loss like that.
I know.
Yeah.
So it's 3-0 up here. What y'all got?
Let's see what they do.
It don't matter. Ain't nobody super chatting Kendrick, I don't think. So I think that's it.
I think Mitch would. Mitch would.
That's the funny thing. Mitch is like a student of the Kendrick Lamar School of Arts.
But he got him on this one.
Yeah.
He got him on this one.
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, I think the Kingdom got this one straight up. Mitch online, that was a sweep.
Yeah, man.
That was a sweep.
My reign has come to an end.
All right. Jason is 1-0 on Jeremiah.
Jason is 1-0.
Yeah.
All right. Good job.
Yeah, man.
With that being said, Jason, you got to come back every month now. I told you. You got to be every month, man. You got to.
Hey. I'll be all right with that. Like, I love you guys enough to be able to do that.
So let's
Absolutely.
make sure people know what Jason does. Jason is our music submission person. Like when you send in music, he's the one that screens it. He's the one that finds the gems and helps them, with their careers afterwards. So
Michelle, don't rub it in, Michelle.
Make sure you guys keep sending your music to trackstarz.com/music-submission. Keep sending us your music. We're the I think right now we're the number 5 music submission site in the world. Trackstarz. That's how many submissions we get. So be easy on Jason. He has to listen to a lot of music constantly. We get a lot of submissions. At least I'll say, it's about 50 a week.
A lot.
It's like 50 a week, something like that. Sometimes even more. So just be easy on him. He's getting to all of them. But send us your music. Like our goal is to find great artists, give them opportunities as best as we can, at least pass them off to people who can really get them to where they need to go. So that's what our job is. Jason, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, man.
You killed it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely be back next month for the other Showdown line at 50, man. One. We got to make 50 special.
That's the big
now,
one.
Here's
we got
the
to make
question.
it special, man.
On the 51, we don't do multiple artists. We just do one artist on the mainstream side. I got a list of mainstream artists that we can do. I think we've done.
Why don't you just do a best of? The best of all the submissions on the Christian side versus the best of all the battles on the other side.
The only problem is I don't remember some of those though. So,
yeah.
but we could.
And we've deleted a lot of them. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if I'd be able to find them either. I mean,
now, I like the format of just going against one giant. Okay. Who would you want to see them to go against?
Maybe NF.
Ooh. Oh, we're going against NF.
Okay. All of them against NF. That's funny.
I'm kidding, y'all. I'm kidding. That's for all my evangelicals out there. I don't know, man. We've already done Eminem. We did Kanye. We did Lil Wayne.
I think we did Wayne. No, we didn't do Wayne. We didn't do Wayne. We didn't do Jay-Z. We didn't do one. But
Jay-Z wouldn't stand a chance, man. He wouldn't stand a chance.
Wow. Oh, well, there you go. Jay-Z at number 50. There you go. I'm glad you said that. I got a selection of you from Jay-Z. Okay.
Yeah, man. Y'all tune in next month.
Hey,
it's gonna be good.
And it's the best of the Showdown artists. You got to bring the best.
Yeah, man. I got it.
Hey, if you want a chance to go up against Jeremiah in a line for line, make sure you join the official universe, trackstarz.com/official. We're coming up with ways for you guys to jump on here and try to battle Jeremiah yourself. See if you could take him on. So join the official universe, get your free t-shirt, and just keep supporting, man. Like, again, we're working every day. We're not just doing this on Saturdays. This is a daily thing for us. So keep praying for us. Pray, we talked about Hillsong. I mean, some of the same challenges and temptations and downfalls, all that stuff is susceptible to us too. So pray for us and make sure that we handle our piece of this well, our role in this kingdom well, and just pray that as much as he wants to advance us, that we advance. All right. Let's get back into it. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Lay out.
Now, I'm in the field with Trackstarz right now. I had a blessed time. Hopefully you guys are listening. If you're not, then you're losing.